Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a seriously fascinating journey. And hey, don't worry, we aren't going to treat this like some dry science lesson, and we're definitely not just reading a list of vitamins off a chart. Instead, we're going to look at the incredible, step-by-step process of how we literally build a human life from the ground up. It's an amazing story of biology, care, and the absolute power of the food we eat.
Okay, let's dive into this. Before a baby takes its first breath, nutrition has already started shaping its development. That's a pretty profound thought, right? The connection between a mother and her child's future begins long before the kid even enters the world. The choices made, the specific nutrients absorbed, they're literally laying the foundation for a brand new human life.
And that brings us to our core premise today. Nutrition is the literal construction of a human being. When we talk about diets during pregnancy or early childhood, we aren't just looking at a textbook list of vitamins you'd memorize for a pop quiz. We're talking about the actual physical building blocks required to construct a healthy brain, strong bones, a beating heart, and a totally robust immune system.
And that construction process starts right here in stage 1, nutrition during pregnancy.
During pregnancy, a mother's body is basically working overtime. It's this incredible feat of biological engineering. And because of this, her nutritional needs naturally shoot up to fuel that fetal growth and development. An increase in calories gives her the sheer energy required, sometimes answering the call of those famous midnight cravings, right? While a boost in protein acts as the primary structural material for the baby's rapidly growing tissues. So the crucial point is understanding exactly what these micronutrients do. Take iron and folate, for example. These are absolutely non-negotiable. Iron is essential because the mother's blood volume increases massively, and it's vital for delivering oxygen to the baby's developing brain. Folic acid, or folate, is critical in those very early days for forming neural pathways and preventing major birth defects. Throw in some calcium and vitamin D for the skeleton, iodine for overall development, and plenty of hydration, and you've got the ultimate architectural blueprint for a baby.
Now, actually translating that blueprint into daily habits, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Really, it's all about balance. On the embrace side, you want to lean heavily into whole foods, colorful fruits and veggies, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, and dairy or alternatives. These are your nutrient-dense powerhouses. On the limit side, well, it's about minimizing risk. That means avoiding things like high-mercury fish, unpasteurized dairy, undercooked meats, excessive caffeine, and of course, alcohol. Look, it's not about being absolutely perfect every single second of the day. It's just about consistently embracing what nourishes and limiting what poses a hazard.
I do want to pause for just a second and add a quick, reassuring reminder here. Every single pregnancy is entirely unique. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all approach to maternal health. Whether it's managing a specific nutrient deficiency or navigating unique dietary restrictions, it is always super important to consult with a qualified healthcare professional like your doctor, dietitian, or midwife to get personalized guidance tailored to your exact needs.
Which brings us to stage 2, nourishing new life.
Once the baby is born, their rapid rate of physical and cognitive growth doesn't slow down. Actually, in a lot of ways, it accelerates. The early months of an infant's life are such a critical window. Looking at the timeline for this first year, you can see the rapid evolution of a baby's diet. At birth, we have colostrum, often called liquid gold, which is packed with antibodies to just kickstart the baby's immune system. Through the first few weeks and months, the infant relies entirely on breast milk or an appropriate infant formula. Then, right around that 6-month mark, we hit a major milestone where the child begins showing signs of readiness for solid foods. And this brilliantly illustrates how nutritional needs evolve so significantly week by week. It's amazing how much changes in just half a year.
Let's talk about those primary sources of nutrition in those early days. Now, breast milk provides incredibly unique, dynamic benefits that actually adapt to the baby's needs over time. However, it's deeply important to acknowledge that breastfeeding just isn't always possible. When that's the case, infant formula is the vital, safe, and entirely appropriate alternative. The absolute most important thing here is that the infant is fed, loved, and given proper, safe nutrition while strictly avoiding inappropriate substitutes like regular cow's milk before their little bodies are physically ready for it.
And that brings us to our next big milestone, stage 3, transitioning to solid foods.
So, around that 6-month mark, breast milk or formula alone just isn't quite enough anymore to keep up with the baby's soaring energy and nutrient demands. The infant starts sitting up, they're showing interest in what you're eating, and they lose that tongue thrust reflex. It's time for complementary foods. Cue the infamously messy high chairs, right? But before we talk about what to feed them, we really need to talk about how to feed them.
Enter responsive feeding. Mealtime should be about building a healthy, lifelong relationship with food rather than turning the dining room table into a battleground. Responsive feeding just means watching for your child's cues. If they open their mouth and lean in, well, they're hungry. If they turn their head away or close their mouth, they're full. We encourage them, we offer nutrient-dense options, but we never, ever force food.
Okay, so what's on the menu? Well, you want to prioritize iron-rich foods like pureed meats or iron-fortified cereals, mostly because a baby's natural iron stores start to deplete around 6 months. From there, you gradually introduce proteins, colorful fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats, like avocados. You might start with really smooth purees and slowly move to mashed or soft finger foods, always making sure the texture is safe to avoid any choking hazards. Oh, and of course, in these early days, keep highly processed foods and added sugars completely off their plate.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the bigger picture with Stage 4, Building Blocks for Growth.
As our infants become toddlers and young children, they're walking, talking, exploring, and growing literally right before our eyes. To support this massive physical and mental expansion, they need specific macro and micronutrients doing some serious heavy lifting behind the scenes. We can actually simplify their complex biological needs into a super easy memory concept: grow, build, protect, and develop. Protein is for grow. It repairs tissues and drives physical growth. Iron, calcium, and vitamin D are for build. They literally build the blood, brain, bones, and teeth. A wide variety of vitamins and minerals protect the child by strengthening their immunity. And healthy fats, found in things like olive oil, nuts, and fish, well, they develop the incredibly complex human brain and nervous system. Basically, every single meal is an opportunity to grow, build, protect, and develop.
But what happens when these building blocks are missing or imbalanced? That takes us to Stage 5, understanding malnutrition.
When a child's dietary quality suffers, it creates hurdles that can severely impact their immunity, their ability to learn in school, and their long-term physical development. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we often misunderstand this term entirely. When most people hear the word malnutrition, they automatically picture a child who just isn't eating enough calories. But malnutrition is actually a broad spectrum. Yes, it absolutely includes undernutrition and unseen micronutrient deficiencies, but it also includes overnutrition. That's where a child might be taking in excess calories through highly processed foods, leading to overweight and obesity, while still actually being starved of the essential vitamins and minerals their body desperately needs to function.
And that is exactly why we have to view this entire process as an interconnected journey, a true continuum of life. A healthy pregnancy directly promotes healthy fetal development. That strong start paves the way for healthy infancy, which in turn sets the stage for a healthy childhood. You see, nutrition isn't some quest to find one single magical, perfect food. It's an ongoing, uninterrupted chain reaction of healthy habits, a varied diet, and appropriate care that spans across years.
We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, so let's lock in all this knowledge with a rapid explainer recap. Number 1, maternal nutrition directly supports fetal growth. 2, pregnancy significantly increases the need for calories and nutrients. 3, iron and folate are absolute essentials early on. 4, breast milk or appropriate infant formula provides the necessary base for newborns. 5, around 6 months, we safely introduce complementary solid foods. 6, growing children require a highly varied, nutrient-dense diet to thrive. And 7, consistently good nutrition is the absolute foundation that supports lifelong health.
Which brings us to this final, truly powerful thought. Nutrition doesn't just feed a child, it helps build the person that child becomes. Every balanced meal during pregnancy, every responsive feeding session in infancy, every colorful plate of whole foods handed to a toddler, it's all an act of construction. You are literally building a life.
So, I'll leave you with this question to ponder today. What kind of person are you helping build? If this explainer made the complex science of child and maternal nutrition a little easier to grasp, please hit subscribe for more structured health science lessons. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which specific topic should our explainer series tackle next? Should we dive deeper into pregnancy nutrition, breastfeeding, infant feeding, or childhood malnutrition? Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.